You's second season may have came out a few months ago, but with a story and a cast of characters that good, how could you not stop thinking about it? What's up, guys? Ryan Ramakrishnan here. Today we're going to be talking about the show You. So I recently watched both season 1 and season 2 for the first time, and I really enjoyed the show. Today we're going to be talking about You's cast of characters. So I have excluded a handful of people. I hope that you understand that. I just don't want to be talking about every single person in the show. So these are just kind of the main ones, and my ranking from worst to best. This is subjective, and yeah, we're going to be spoiling You. So with that being said, guys, let's dive into my ranking of the main characters of You.
What do you want, Candice?
You did it again, didn't you?
So Candice may be pivotal to Joe's story, but in the end, I just didn't really end up liking her that much. So in my personal opinion, I thought that her scams and manipulation, while very interesting, really didn't do as much for the character as those kind of behaviors would do for others. I really did have some high expectations for Candice, but I think that this character overall kind of just didn't do a lot for me. You know, once she became a mainstay, I didn't really feel all that much compassion for her, and honestly, I really won't be missing her like I will be for a lot of the other characters we lost recently. So Paco may have been quiet throughout the first season of You. However, he is anything but irrelevant. Paco has a lot of trauma, and I think that, you know, his experiences with domestic abuse, being afraid of Ron, really made him a damaged child, and that's kind of really sad to see someone so young experience that, but he was very optimistic, and I did like that a lot. I thought that was admirable. Paco tries to be positive amid hardship, and that's what a lot of people hope to be able to do. Obviously, sometimes it's really easier said than done. So I think that Paco really exemplified that, but he also ended up exemplifying what really happens when people go through hardship. So yeah, he is a pretty interesting character. I feel like not a lot was done with him in comparison to the rest of the characters on this list, but I definitely felt for him overall. Not a bad character.
Did Beck tell you I started jogging?
Fun. Runner's high is better than sex, and for some may last longer.
So Peach is definitely the most interesting of Beck's main friends, and I actually did really like the storyline of how she was pretty much controlling Beck, stopping her from being her own person, and of course giving her mixed signals with her own emotions involved in there. But Peach is definitely not a great friend, not really a great person, but she puts on a facade, and I think that she really exemplifies just being spoiled and fake. And you know what? She's not a likable person, but as a character, I think she was pretty well written, and the tension between her and Joe is sometimes funny and also just always very, you know, like I said, tense.
And there you were. Every account set to public. You want to be seen, heard, known. Of course, I obliged.
So I definitely thought that Elizabeth Lail did great in her portrayal of Guinevere Beck, and I really did like her character for quite some time. By the end of season 1, I had some positive thoughts about Beck. I do, however, think that a lot of the characters in season 2, of course, Joe's love interests as well in there, really kind of lessen those thoughts. I would say that Beck had some great character development, you know, finally getting to writing, admitting that she has toxic friends and she's better without them, facing her real love for Joe. Those things are good, and she was very likable. Overall, I enjoyed her. But, you know, some of the things she did, I sort of had to question, and maybe I wonder if they made her just less of a great character than some of the others we would see after her. I really enjoyed Ellie and the relationship that she had with the characters around her. I thought that Jenna Ortega delivered an excellent performance at sort of shifting emotions and mental states with this character of Ellie. You know, I think that she did a really good job with her performances, and the dynamics that Ellie had with Joe, with Delilah, and with everyone else was pretty good.
It was pulling away from me. I could tell. Everybody wants to get away from me. Why? What's wrong with me?
I really enjoyed this character, and it was very emotional kind of seeing everything that happened with her, because she is very smart and she was very ambitious and everything, but she was also naive, and maybe, you know, that was maybe her fault, maybe not. She was only 15 years old. But I think that it really just added more dimension to the character, and I think she grew a lot thanks to her sister and the experiences she had. So Ellie was very good and dynamic.
Hey, klepto. The police came for these.
The actual police or your fuckboy?
Why would you take these?
I couldn't believe he would do this. But I do now.
I really thought that Delilah was compelling. Many of the characters and the people around them in general in this show kind of had a veneer, and they were just a lot of fakers, I feel like. But what I loved about Delilah was that her faking was sort of just an insecurity, and she was trying to cover up that she was very damaged. And this makes her all the more interesting, I would say. Delilah has a very hard exterior, but obviously on the inside, she's not like that. She's a good person, and she's just been through a lot. She has very traumatic memories and PTSD of things that have happened to her in the past. And, you know, with Henderson now approaching her little sister at the same age she was when she went through that experience, she's frightened for her. And Delilah has this goal to sort of be like a mother to her little sister. She has to protect her from bad things hidden in plain sight, and she has to deal with her sister being an angsty teen. So Delilah's going through a lot. I think that once she really opens up with Joe and everything, things are very nice. And I feel like they had a really good bond. I really enjoyed Delilah. She had a very interesting and emotional storyline, and I'm gonna miss her. You know, it sucks that she's dead.
Please just help me before he gets back.
So upon my first introduction of 40, I kind of didn't expect too much of him. I really never expected him to be so deep, though, and they did a really good job with character development of this guy. So You's second season really does focus a lot on 40's relationship with Love, and there is a very interesting and very sad family dynamic going on that 40 has to deal with. He always feels inferior to his sister. He kind of relies on her a lot because she's really doing good things. She's moving forward in life, and he's having a hard time, and his father can care less about him, his dreams, the girls he brings over, and stuff like that. So he's hurting. He's got a lot going on. And between that and just being a struggling artist who has rose-tinted glasses, I guess, about Hollywood and the film industry, it's just that he's got a lot on his plate. And the sad thing is, I feel like with all those challenges that he's facing and stuff, his drug addiction is almost uncomfortably logical for him. So of course, that addiction makes him really, really unstable. 40 just quickly goes from a fun-loving and kind-spirited kind of guy who's like a good time to someone who's just reckless, dangerous. You never know what he's gonna do when, especially, he starts to get on drugs or drinking and stuff.
Besides, I heard this is how Toni Morrison does it.
What?
She's like a very famous black chick who writes books.
I know who fucking Toni Morrison is. I highly doubt she writes at gunpoint.
Oh, no. I just meant that she writes in hotels.
So 40 is kind of just crazy unstable and has no self-control when push comes to shove. I think that James Scully really killed it in this role. I really loved this character. I felt bad for him. I felt afraid of him. But I would probably say kind of felt bad for him more than anything. I think that he was just a very, very interesting, well-written character. So easily one of the best things to come out of You.
What about Dimitri?
Mama Ru is the safe word. If you just say that, he'll let you out.
There's been a fucking safe word!
Of course. I'm not a crazy person. All right?
So not unlike her brother, Love is a very complicated character who is very damaged and broken on the inside. I think that the difference is, just like 40 kind of stated, Love is just a better liar, and she really does cover up very well. I mean, she is a good person. I think inherently Love is this really delightful, sweet-hearted, nice person that we see and that Joe falls in love with. But she has a mask on this whole time, and she's killed and she's done dark things. But it's not only that she has done things in the past, but she's so not at all afraid to do crazy things for her fantasy. And Love is just very complicated, and I do actually really like her. And I do think that it's kind of crazy and ironic because she is actually a lovely person, you know what I mean? She's super approachable and likable, it seems, based on how she interacts with people. She's got a kind heart. She does very good things for people, but maybe it's not that black and white with her. Her inner darkness comes out in the end. It's a crazy plot twist. The acting is just amazing from Victoria Pedretti, and I think that she just really kills it, kind of making us believe that she's such a nice, sweet girl, but also making us believe that she has some psychotic tendencies and is not afraid to do bad things. It just complements Joe so well. There's an interesting dynamic between them that gets even better by the end. So overall, I just think that Love is a fantastic character, very well written, and just has so many great ideas behind her. So I can't help but love her because she is great. So that's Love, Quinn.
Where's Candice? What happened?
I took care of it.
All right, so realistically, who else was gonna be number one besides Joe Goldberg? He is the show's main protagonist, yet also the antagonist, I guess. I mean, Joe is just a crazy character, really. Just the things that they did with this character are very fascinating because he is charming yet disturbing. Joe is not afraid to commit some terrible crimes, obviously including murder more often than not, but he always has some sort of justification for it, whether he is trying to kind of help Beck become her own person and break free from her toxic friends and relationships, or he is trying to save Ellie from a pedophile. He's not afraid to kind of go the extra distance, which makes him a very good guy, right? He's doing good things. But the thing is, Joe decidedly just kills people or stalks his love and just does anything to get to where he wants to get and is not really afraid of what's going to happen. He tells himself he's trying to be better, and he always has to kind of say to himself, like, Joe, you know, I'm doing this because it's for the better of you. Joe always has to justify his bad behavior. So that's what makes him kind of interesting, because on one side of the spectrum, we have a really good guy, someone with a kind heart, someone who will do anything for the woman he loves, someone who will do anything for innocent kids who were put in danger or put into threatening situations by adults.
Hey, run.
Someone who will go out of his way to make people happy. So that's crazy because I love people like that. You know, you would easily think that they're great, but then there is just this whole darkness inside. He's been through a lot. His childhood was not good at all, and he is a broken character who's very dark, and honestly, he's obviously has some issues mentally as when it comes to sort of just how to act with people. I think that Penn Badgley is obviously made for this role. I mean, he does just an excellent job at performing in every episode as this character. I think that the cold facial expressions, the unsettling, and also sometimes just funny and sometimes very blunt narration, and it all just makes for just such a great performance. He's awesome in this role, and he has a lack of stability, and he has a very weird sense of morality and a moral code that may or may not even be there. He just lives a complicated life, but he is so likable and charming and does good things for people. So not at all black and white. Definitely some gray areas in there. But you gives us this great character development from start to finish. No matter how terrifying Joe Goldberg is, he's easily one of the best characters I've seen on recent TV.
Because this is where I had to be. Exactly where I had to be to meet you. There you were with your books and your sunshine. So close, but worlds away. I will figure out a way to get to you. See you soon, neighbor.
And there you have it, guys. That is my list of sort of the main characters of You and how I would rank them from worst to best. Obviously, like I've stated, I did exclude several characters. I think it's just because there are just too many. I'm not going to start talking about every single side character. You know, we're talking the main players here. But that's it, guys. I want to kind of hear what you guys have to say about You. So what do you think? Would you have included more characters when you're talking about the most important ones in the storylines? I mean, how would you rank them? Do you like Candice, or do you feel the same way I do about her? Which of Joe's love interests is your favorite? Let me know all your thoughts about all the characters in You. I want to hear your opinions. I want to see why you think I'm wrong or how you think I'm right. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Hope you had a good time here, and I will see you all in the next video.